more insight, more understanding. This is Fox 23 News in Depth with Rick Marino.
With the Oklahoma Highway Patrol cleaning up homeless camps along Tulsa highways and promising to move on to other communities soon, what are Broken Arrow Police seeing next door to the city of Tulsa? Joining me on the program tonight is Broken Arrow Police Chief Lance Arnold to speak unedited about a few topics, including this one. Is his city seeing issues with homeless encampments just like next door in Tulsa? Joining me on the program today to speak unedited is Broken Arrow Police Chief Lance Arnold. Thanks for coming back. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, Rick.
No doubt you are noticing what is happening next door in Tulsa with Operation Safe, and I was wondering, what are y'all's homeless enforcement efforts as far as, you don't have a lot of highway,
right?
But you do have a lot of land.
Right, we do. No, that's been a common question. Is are you seeing any spillover or any migration, if you will, from the safer efforts? And the answer is really no. We see on average probably 4 to 5 homeless encampments a month or so not near the number obviously in Tulsa. And our approach has been for a long time now. We have specially trained officers with our crisis response team. They have case managers that are co-responders and ride with them, and they handle the variety of things, everything from people in crisis to homelessness to alcohol and drug abuse. And as you know, a lot of times there's a nexus sometimes, with those three. And so, our approach has always been and will continue to be one that really works to try to provide resources, to connect people with resources, more than anything to establish a relationship. Sometimes that when our officers go out, from what I hear from our teams, is they've got to work to build that trust. So maybe that first or second or even third encounter, they're still working towards building that trust. And it's not so much that sometimes people don't want to be connected with the resources. They may not be trusting the messenger for those resources. And so we've worked really hard with our partners like Creoaks and others in our community. We have faith-based organizations. We have nonprofit organizations like Broken Arrow Neighbors that really are there to help us kind of really combat this issue all around. But the big answer for what's going on with Tulsa right now is we've not seen that spillover in Broken Arrow.
I was wondering, because the common thing we've seen is more of them are walking on the sidewalks now and coming to the neighborhoods, and your streets connect to Tulsa streets.
Yeah,
so
they do.
I wasn't totally sure. Where would you say the homeless are in Broken Arrow that you encounter? Are they mainly Rose District area or shopping centers?
No, surprisingly, we don't see a lot in the Rose District. What I would say is most of the ones that we encounter are, they may be small encampments, nothing like what we've seen reported on the news with the most recent efforts. They're 1 to 3 people generally, typically in a wooded area. We recently passed an ordinance that allowed us to really have a better effort in some of those. What we were experiencing was you can find vacant land that may be owned by an LLC or an individual that may be out of state, and we may get a complaint on it. We go to that area and it may take us weeks or months to be able to actually contact a landowner to find out if this person's allowed to be there to enforce trespassing or something like that. And our new ordinance really allows us to really start interacting and getting these people, connecting these people to resources much sooner than that. But that's where we typically find them.
As I know you recently got back from a trip from Colorado about your amphitheater. I was very fascinated when you told me about this. It was, what did you all learn? Because you're getting something just like this. Is that right, to go and see it for yourself?
It is. So it's the same company. The one in Colorado Springs is their first one. Broken Arrow is their second one. They're also building one in McKinney, El Paso, and I believe in Houston. And it was really just a chance to go see their overall operations. It's nice to go see it and see how they really work through the traffic issues, work through the public safety issues. And the fan experience. This company is really, really big on that fan experience. And so we wanted to really be able to experience that both behind the scenes and as a fan or a spectator at an actual event. And so it was really a great experience. Can't thank the city of Colorado Springs enough for providing the resources for us, the management company there, and then of course Venue, who is a partner that we're with at the Sunset Amphitheater. Our amphitheater will be a little bit bigger. Theirs is about 8,000 seats. Ours is 12,500. But what we saw was really, they do a fantastic job with the fan experience. They do a fantastic job of getting people in the parking lots, in the venue, and out of the venue and out of the parking lots, with traffic control, with lanes specifically for ride share programs, people being dropped off, and they do a really good job. The other thing that was really noticeable is the acts that were there. So we saw Winona, we saw Little Big Town. They both, as they're out on this beautiful stage looking out among the fire pit suites and this gorgeous amphitheater, couldn't help but comment about their experience as, you know, professionals in the business, but how beautiful the entire thing was. And so that was all of it was really something to take back home with us. So
now, do they have their own security team that will work with you all, or do you all do an events, you know, per basis?
So they do provide their own security. We will have officers there. The way Colorado Springs does it, and probably the way that we're leaning towards, is they hire those officers off duty, so there's no cost to the citizens, but they have their own security, and that security was really streamlined. They have a clear bag policy, but they're using modern metal detectors and things like that. And so if people went through the line and they didn't set the metal detector off, they didn't search their bags or do any of that kind of stuff. And you know, they have their own medical teams there. So really, that was one of the things that we did talk with them. Fire Chief Jeremy Moore went with me, and we talked about how they staff their medical side, how they staff the police and the security side. But they'll be responsible for providing their own security, and then we'll be there primarily helping with traffic control, and then, you know, to a smaller degree inside the venue. But these are venues, again, that are geared towards that fan experience, and so it's not like, you know, I think some people were worried about, one, traffic, and we saw that they did a great job handling that. And then they were also worried just about, you know, the types of people that may come into town or whatever. These are destination type events, and with this fan experience, I would say there were no issues that night. You know, there was nothing that even got my spidey senses going or anything with anything that I saw there. People just come in there to have a good time, very relaxed atmosphere, and it was a great experience.
Is this a new chapter for you all? You don't have, yes, you have big facilities, but you don't have something like this yet.
Yeah, I think that the answer is yes. I mean, easily, and not just for us, for our entire community, right? And so we know, and they were very quick to point out that area around the Ford Amphitheater in Colorado Springs, when they first built that, it was very similar to ours. It was kind of out in the middle. There wasn't a lot of business. There wasn't a lot of hotels, multi-living spaces or anything like that. And that area really kind of grew up around that. And so from an economic driver perspective, that's definitely one thing. The other thing that's interesting about ours is that with the new redesign, with the sound, with the wind walls, and with the radiant heating and the fans, it's meant to be a year-round venue. And so I think one of the things that we are certainly focused on is, you know, they're talking maybe 50 shows a year. Wow. And what does that look like for us? But I came away from that experience in Colorado Springs really realizing that, you know, it's not that big of a heavy lift from a public safety perspective. Officers are being hired off duty. They're available to work that. They're not forcing anybody to come in and work overtime. And the management company itself does a fantastic job with their security personnel and other staff.
Chief, we've got some events coming up. Let's let the folks know about them.
Right. So we have an event tomorrow in Broken Arrow in New Orleans Square. It's very popular. It's advertised all over the state. But Brews, Bops, and Bites, if I got that right, is tomorrow night, 5 to 10 in New Orleans Square. After that, a couple of really cool events. One is the Battle of the Badges in Broken Arrow, firefighters versus police officers in sand volleyball. We have a lot of teams out besides the police and fire, and they are that'll be on September 27th at Neen House Park and at the sand volleyball courts. And then the final event is the Tulsa Area Crime Stoppers is doing an event also on that same day, September 27th, Badges and Barbecue, and it's their big fundraising gala at Chandler Park here in Tulsa.
All right, Chief, we'll be watching it all.
All right,
thank you so much.
Yes, sir.